If you've ever heard that getting sunlight is good for your bones or that vitamin D strengthens your immune system, you're not alone. For years, vitamin D has been promoted as an almost miraculous nutrient. And in part, that's true. Without it, our bones weaken, our immune system loses efficiency, and our metabolism becomes unbalanced. Subscribe and comment. Integrative medicine, Soledad del Prado. But here's the question few people ask: what happens when good turns into too much? The answer is clear, and it is supported by modern science. Vitamin D, in excess, becomes a toxic substance. Not by itself, but because of what it triggers inside your body. Today we're going to walk step by step through what happens when levels spike, why some people are more vulnerable, how the chemistry behind this process works, and most importantly, how to protect yourself without going to extremes. Get ready, because we're going to break myths, explain the science clearly, and give you real tools to use vitamin D intelligently. Let's begin. Vitamin D-induced hypercalcemia. The first thing you need to know is this: vitamin D does not poison you directly. What makes you sick is calcium. Vitamin D works like a master key that opens the doors for calcium to enter your bloodstream from the intestines, be released from bones, and be reabsorbed in the kidneys. When you take too much vitamin D, that key keeps turning uncontrollably. The result is excess circulating calcium, what doctors call hypercalcemia. What does hypercalcemia feel like in the body? It doesn't appear overnight. It usually begins with subtle signs that many people ignore: constant fatigue and muscle weakness, as if your body feels heavier, nausea, loss of appetite, and constipation, because excess calcium slows down the natural movement of the intestines. Extreme thirst and frequent urination, as the kidneys desperately try to eliminate the excess calcium through urine. If not detected in time, the condition progresses and affects vital organs, kidneys. Calcium crystallizes and forms kidney stones. Filtration slows down, severe dehydration may occur, and in prolonged cases, irreversible kidney damage. Bones. Although it sounds contradictory, excess vitamin D pulls calcium out of the skeleton. The body, trying to balance the blood, activates cells called osteoclasts that break down bone to release more calcium. Over time, this weakens bone structure, heart and blood vessels. Calcium can deposit where it shouldn't, on artery walls. This is called vascular calcification. It reduces vessel elasticity, increases the risk of hypertension, and in severe cases disrupts heart rhythm, brain and nervous system. Hypercalcemia affects neuronal electrical conduction. You may feel confusion, lethargy, difficulty concentrating, and in severe intoxication, even coma. Most severe cases of vitamin D toxicity are preventable. They almost always occur due to self-medication with high doses, poorly dosed supplements, or combinations with other drugs without medical supervision. If you experience several of these symptoms and regularly take vitamin D, don't ignore it. A simple blood test for calcium and vitamin D can change the course of your health. Supplementation risk. Now, if vitamin D is so common and sold without a prescription, why don't we all get intoxicated? The answer is that toxicity doesn't depend only on the dose, but on the person, the context, and what you combine it with. Let's look at the factors that turn a safe dose into a real risk. Dose and time. The more is better myth. Many people believe that if 1,000 international units per day is good, 10,000 must be better. Science says otherwise. The tolerable upper limit for healthy adults is 4,000 per day, but this number is not a concrete wall. Some people develop hypercalcemia with 2,000 or 3,000 if taken for months without control. And beware, single, loading doses of 50,000 or 100,000 although useful in severe deficiencies, should only be used under medical supervision and with follow-up monitoring. Dangerous interactions no one tells you about. Vitamin D plus calcium supplements. This is the highest risk combination. Vitamin D opens the intestinal door for calcium. If you also take calcium pills, the bloodstream becomes quickly saturated. Vitamin D plus thiazide diuretics. These blood pressure medications cause the kidneys to retain calcium. If combined with vitamin D, your body cannot eliminate the excess. Result: silent but real hypercalcemia, kidney disease. The kidneys are the body's calcium filters. If they are already damaged, any excess vitamin D becomes an immediate danger. Older age. With age, kidney function declines and the ability to regulate calcium becomes more fragile. Genetics. The faulty break. Some people are born with a mutation in a gene called 24 cypriot pounds A1. This gene produces the enzyme responsible for turning off active vitamin D if the break fails. Even normal doses of vitamin D accumulate and cause severe hypercalcemia, especially in babies and children. It's not common, but it exists, and it explains why in the same family, some tolerate supplements and others do not. Vitamin D is not a one-size-fits-all nutrient. Your body, your kidneys, your medications, and your genes determine your safe dose. Supplementing without prior testing is like driving with your eyes closed. Chemical and metabolic basis of vitamin D toxicity. To understand why all this happens, we need to go into the lab. Don't worry, we won't use complex formulas. Let's use a simple analogy. Imagine your body as a hormone factory. Raw material enters, you take vitamin D from the sun, food, or a supplement. It's a fat-soluble molecule. It dissolves in fat, not water, so it accumulates in adipose tissue and the liver. First transformation, liver. In the liver, an enzyme called CYP2R1 adds a hydroxyl group, O, and converts it into 25-hydroxyvitamin D, also called calcifediol. This is the form measured in blood tests. It's like the central warehouse, stable, circulating, but still inactive. Final activation, kidneys. Calcifediol travels to the kidneys. There, another enzyme, CYP27B1, adds a second O group and forms calcitriol, or 1,25-dihydroxyvitamin D. This is the active hormone. It is the key that fits into the vitamin D receptor, VDR, present in the intestine, bones, kidneys, heart, brain, and immune cells. When calcitriol binds to its receptor, it acts like a genetic switch. It instructs cells to produce proteins that absorb calcium, strengthen bones, and modulate inflammation. Up to this point, everything is perfect physiology. Step 4, the recycling system, and where toxicity fails. Here is the key: your body does not allow calcitriol to circulate freely forever. There is an enzyme responsible for deactivating it and converting it into waste eliminated through urine. It is called 24 cypriot pounds A1. It is the system's emergency brake. Under normal conditions, when calcitriol rises, the body responds by producing more 24 cypriot pounds A1 to degrade it. It is an intelligent feedback loop. When does it break? When you take too much vitamin D at once, the brake cannot keep up. When the 24 cypriot pounds A1 gene is mutated, the brake does not work. When there is kidney damage or drug interactions, the elimination system collapses. The result: excess calcitriol, right-pointing arrow, massive VDR activation, right-pointing arrow, uncontrolled intestinal calcium absorption plus bone release plus renal retention, right-pointing arrow, sustained hypercalcemia, right-pointing arrow, progressive organ damage. Toxicity is not a mistake of vitamin D, it is a failure in the regulation and elimination system. And because vitamin D is stored in fat, its effects can last for weeks or months even after stopping supplementation. We've reached the core question: what do we do with all this information? The good news is that vitamin D toxicity is, in most cases, preventable. And prevention doesn't require complexity, just common sense and basic monitoring. The golden rule: test before supplementing, don't take vitamin D just in case. Get a blood test for 25-hydroxyvitamin D, less than 20 nanograms, ml, deficiency, supplementation indicated, 20 to 30 nanograms, ml, insufficiency, 30 to 50 nanograms, ml, optimal range for most people 50 nanograms, ml, monitoring zone, 100 nanograms, ml, risk of toxicity. Personalize the dose. Your dose depends on your weight, age, kidney function, sun exposure, and baseline level. What works for a young athlete may intoxicate an older person with hypertension. Work with a professional. Adjust every 3 to 6 months. Avoid risky combinations. Do not combine vitamin D with calcium supplements without medical indication. If you take thiazide diuretics, lithium, or corticosteroids, inform your doctor before supplementing. If you have chronic kidney disease, recurrent kidney stones, or sarcoidosis, supplementation requires a specialized protocol. Monitor, don't just supplement. If you are on high doses, greater than 4,000 U per day, or long-term treatment, request not only vitamin D but also serum calcium. urinary calcium, and kidney function, creatinine, GFR. Early detection of hypercalciuria or mild hypercalcemia prevents major complications. What science is still discovering, we know that hypercalcemia is the classic marker of toxicity. But recent research suggests that very high levels of vitamin D may have calcium-independent effects, such as alterations in gut microbiota, excessive modulation of the immune response, possible subclinical arrhythmias. The message is clear: balance beats excess.